Well, welcome back to another video. Inside the car has actually stayed dry. The door opens. It stayed relatively dry. That's just the water on the top. So the sealing seems to have worked. Seems to have all sealed. Seems to have all worked. Which means now we're not going to have to worry about getting wet by driving. These will be getting sorted out at some point, but not today. So today we're going to be doing one of these, a wheel bearing sensor or speed sensor, whatever you want to call it. We got it plugged in the other day, and this was a culprit on this side, so we'll show you the light on the dash to start with. And hopefully, once we're done, the light won't be there anymore. So as you can see, the 3 amigos, and we've got the SRS light, and by the looks of it, the handbrake light. So hopefully, once we are done with it, it will be gone. The plan is anyway. So to start with, disconnect the battery. And then locking wheel nut. Oh, that's good. Now just make sure nice. So I have checked to see if there is any movement in the wheel bearing. There is none. You would have heard a little bit then, but that's because the wheel nuts aren't very tight. Let's put an axle stand under it. We've got some wheel chocks under that wheel. Stop it rolling off and hurting someone. Well, someone being me. I've got the wheel off, I'll let that down. So yeah, the plan is today we're going to do this wheel bearing sensor. Hopefully the lights will then be gone. And then hopefully I'll be able to change both front shock absorbers, and apparently this side spring, according to the garage that I took the car to get diagnosed, they said it's collapsed, which funny enough in my stocks I actually have a spring for another axle, which should just do the job. I do actually have some I was getting there. I do actually have some front shock absorbers, which I'll show you in a minute just how bad those are. But yeah, hopefully as long as we can turn the lights off today, that's one thing, one job done. But hopefully I can get the other jobs done as well. Yeah, so we've got that bushing there. Obviously I shouldn't be able to do that. It looks like from here the other side's the exact same. I'm getting that gasket hopefully Tuesday. The steering box I'm hoping isn't too bad. It might fail the MOT on that because it does leak quite a lot. But other than that, yeah, right, let's get on with this wheel bearing sensor. So obviously, let's disconnect it from the top. Sometimes I do make it look harder than what it is. Almost stopped at the first hurdle just by a grommet. Well, let's take some of this other stuff off. Right. Before I do that, best. I was told by someone the other day the reason that red light might be on might not be the handbrake. It might actually have something to do with the brake fluid reservoir being low, but that's not the case. Unfortunately. So it makes me think that's going to snap off and hit me in the face, which won't make me a very happy bunny. Right, well, let's take that off to start with then. Right, now that's out of the way. Nice. Not as bad as I thought they'd be, considering that this car hasn't really been looked after. In fairness, working backwards and forwards is actually really helping the job. Oh, let's not get distracted. Right. I'm hoping the video I done of the sunroofs, although how vague it was, because I did do the front one and realised that I probably should have been filming. Hopefully it's helped maybe someone or more than one, you know, maybe tackle the problem themselves. Because obviously when you do go to these car places, it is nice to have it not be your problem, but at the same time it is also nice to try and save yourself some money, which has always been my theory, owning a Land Rover. Because it's the bills that add up. What do I need? As you can see, quite disorganised. It's a cracked socket, that's... might be easier to use the bosses. So yeah, hopefully that video about the sunroofs helped. It was very vague and it wasn't very well planned, but hopefully it kind of just gave you a rough idea of what you got to do. Of course, because it is a little bit tricky, but once you get the headlining out, it's so much easier than what you think it might be. Oh Jesus, that looks exciting. I can't tell what that is. Is that a screwdriver? Oh. Oh. Man. I think it's a screwdriver. I think my one isn't up to the job. She's being a bit greedy, she wants bigger. That might be just the size. Under a bit of a hammer. Might get the... What I'll have to do. Oh. Dad would be proud. Right. As you can see, I soon build up quite a big mess, and I've got to try and make sure that I don't confuse my tools with my boss's tools. So my boss's. Right. we go. Don't know why I'm trying to feel for play for. I'm not going to feel it like that. Right. So we finally got it done in the end. Turns out it's not as simple as doing the rears. It's, if you can see that, it's right next to the TV. So I had to take all four, 1, 2, 3, and 4 out. Pull the bearing out. Sorry. Obviously, when that slides forward, slides off the shaft, this all drops down, which then makes that gap bigger. Because without taking it off, it's impossible to fit it through there. So that's in. Hopefully, that's going to fix it. There was no scoring or anything. Where is the... there it is. There's no scoring or anything on the bearing sensor that I can see. So I'm just going to put this back together quickly now. You saw I took it apart, so vice versa. I'll put it back together and then I'll turn the ignition on, see if it has cured the problem. I did run into one problem though. When I was plugging it back in up here, I got a bit over carried away, and as I pushed it in, I bent one of the connectors in this plug here. So I might have done all this work for nothing, but we'll find out. In which case, if I have bent it in there, I'll just go through the scenario of getting a whole new bearing, because doing all this just to replace the ABS line, I may as well have just done the wheel bearing. But the reason I've done the ABS line is because I actually had one of these in the shed from a few years ago from my previous Land Rover, and it just made more sense to try this. So, and that's what I said on the scanner, ABS line, front left. So yeah, I'll put this back together and then we will turn the ignition on together and see. We'll see if it's cleared the code or not. Fingers crossed it has. That's all back together now. We'll plug the battery back in and see if it's done the trick. Let's turn the ignition off to start with. Now hopefully, if I've done it right and it is a wheel bearing sensor, not the wheel bearing or a wiring issue, I should now turn this on and the light should be out. Which they're not. That was a bit of a failure. New ABS line is on. I have just checked the connector in there and it is all working. It's not where before I first put it in and it bent the connector around, I managed to bodge it. So it is fitting correctly now, so that shouldn't be the problem, because it's making contact. I don't know whether it has fixed the problem and I just need to get it plugged in to delete the codes. I did have a thought that, you know, once I replace the ABS line for a new one from a faulty one, it might clear the code itself, because obviously there's no longer a problem. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. I'll talk to the garage about getting it plugged in, see if, you know, deleting the code will fix it.